Biggest misunderstanding is that cocktail bar business is something which has high profitability.
Whiskey or rum?
Rum, hands down, any day. If you invest money in my company, if you want to make money out of it, where is my focus?
So, what were your hardest lessons during your initial bartending years?
When I quit my job, I was actually manager in a 5-star hotel. I came 2 levels low. The place where we used to eat was right next to the staff toilet and it used to stink. I thought I'll give up.
How the idea of Kalpaney came and why it came? One sentence to convince a teetotaler to try a cocktail.
You are missing really something in your life.
So, a robotic bartender versus you in a competition, who wins?
Robotic bartender. Maybe I can make tastier drinks than the robot. Robot can't taste. Yeah. We have had so many failures. I have like a failure museum in my head. Imagine finding 4,000 new consumers every single month for your bar. Would you like to fund in my company?
Why not?
Some people come, you are number 2 bar in the country, you don't have Kingfisher beer. Then that probably that's why I am number 2, I don't know.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode on the Pro Foodpreneur podcast. Today I have with me someone who has elevated the cocktail scene in Bangalore and in India, the co-founder of SOKA, which is the number 3 bar in 2024 in India and number 2 cocktail bar in 2025 and number 28 bar in Asia, and also the co-founder of Kalpaney and also the co-founder of cocktail Kompany Hospitality, and also Jamming Out 3.0, and I don't know how many more companies are there. So I have with me today Mr. Avinash Kapoli here.
Thank you for having
Hi,
me,
Avinash.
Karthik. I'm very excited to be part of this.
Yeah, so glad to
podcast.
host you here. Yeah. So you have been in the industry for 17 years, right?
Yeah.
So take us to the beginning. What was the breakthrough in your whole journey? What was the starting point of this journey?
So I have seen this industry since a kid because my father was also working in F&B. He worked in restaurants, he worked in bars, he worked in vegetarian restaurants, and I took up hotel management to study. And while I was doing my hotel management, there is a training which you have to go to, which is called outdoor catering. So if any hotel, 5-star hotels are doing some outdoor catering, they need students from college to come and help them with the service or in the kitchen or anything like that. So in one of those events which happened in Palace grounds, I saw a bartender, Pradeep Andrews at that time, behind the bar flaring with bottles and all of that, and everyone was clapping and he was getting that recognition. And so generally I have seen the industry from as a kid, but here when I saw that there is someone who is working is getting so much recognition in front of a crowd, so that kind of drew me that I have to get into bartending. But at that time it looked very glamorous, but later on then when I realized that there's what is bartending, you have to know your recipes, and college kind of taught me the foundation. I learnt all the basics, and then I went on to work in restaurants, bars, and that's how I got into it. Yeah.
So you studied hotel management in Christ University, right?
Yes.
So you just said like college really help you with the foundation.
Yeah.
Then you learned working in bars and restaurants. So did the college really help you to gain the business knowledge, or after your work and experience you gained it, or after you started your business you gained it, the business acumen and everything?
See, honestly, when I was doing my hotel management, I did not think that I will open a business of my own. But what college taught me was it is a very wholesome educational program, and it was for 4 years when I was studying, unlike 3 years which is there in most of the colleges, where you study. There are 4 main subjects. One is your kitchen, then there is your service, and then there is front office, and then there is housekeeping, and then you have 4 more subjects which will include economics to finance to human resources. Soft skills was also something which was there part of it. So in 4 years I learned a lot of how the food and the beverage industry or the hospitality industry works, and I learned the foundation. In 3 years, you're cooking. You have cooking classes every year. You have service classes every year. So you're learning. You learn about wines. You learn about beverages. You also learn a language called French. So that gave me the foundation to know what the industry is. And once you get into the industry, based on your experience, you acquire a lot more skills, but you will understand it better and learn much quicker because you already have a foundation of what the hospitality industry is. Yes.
So if someone is going to start fresh without like being studied in a hotel management school or something, they have to work a lot to learn whatever you guys have already learned.
Yes, because if you want to finish college and then get into a managerial position, if you have studied from any other stream, you would not have the basic foundational knowledge. And as a hotel or any restaurant for that matter, would prefer someone at a managerial position to have done hotel management as their education. So they will be able to understand and manage the work better. But otherwise, if you are from any other stream, you will have to start from ground up and then learn, acquire the skills, and study a lot to keep growing.
So your earlier bartending years, where did you work? Who mentored you?
So while I was in college, I started doing freelance bartending. I joined Pradeep Andrews, who was doing flaring. He actually had a school where he was teaching bartending. I joined the school, but then I did not complete it because at that time I was learning only flare bartending. And then I actually joined another school as an instructor. I was teaching flaring as well as cocktails and all of that. And after college, I became a management trainee. I went on to work with a lot of hotels and restaurants, standalone bars, and things like that. But one of the early mentors in my life was Mr. Dilawar Singh Nindra. I think he's a GM at a hotel in Gurgaon now, or he's the region head. He saw that I was very enthusiastic and I knew a lot about beverages, and he pushed me into a lot of situations where I had to learn quick and adapt to the situation and get better. I would say initial days of my career, he was someone who mentored me.
Okay. Do you have mentors now? Do you learn from other people now?
I I wouldn't say I have a mentor to whom I'll go back and keep asking questions, but I kind of learn from everyone around and from my seniors in the industry. From my dad, I get a lot of answers because sometimes I don't know whom to ask these kind of questions. And my dad has spent about 40-45 years, although not as a business owner but as an employee. I did open a restaurant for him, which failed miserably in Mysore, but that was a learning. Yeah.
Great. So what were your hardest lessons during your initial bartending years?
Uh, Hardest lessons. From what lens are you saying
Like
hardest lessons?
something which maybe put you to tough situations, or you took a lot of time to learn certain things, something like that.
Um, Hardest lessons in the sense of I started off working in hotels.
Okay.
In hotels, I learned processes and systems, but they were boring. And I'm like, I don't want to do this boring thing. So I moved to a standalone. But the switch for me from a five-star hotel as a manager to come and join a standalone, and I kind of got into a situation with my friend who I thought was helping me out, but I got there as a bartender. I was already a manager. I came 2 levels low, and there was no system, there were no processes. And if you are a manager in a five-star hotel, at that point when I quit my job, I was actually manager of 24 by 7 coffee shop and in-room dining.
Okay.
So I come in the morning at 7 o'clock. I look at the buffet. I have 60 people working and reporting to me. Then I sit on the table. I would get my breakfast, coffee, and then I go for a break, come back again, run evening operation. And suddenly from there I moved to the standalone bar where there was not even a cafeteria for the staff to eat. I was a manager, now I'm just a bartender. There was no systems and processes. The place where we used to eat was right next to the staff toilet, and it used to stink. But then at that point, I thought I'll give up on this, and I think I made a mistake that I was having a good life, but I wanted to move and work in standalone. I thought I was not getting promoted there. But then I put my foot on the ground and said, no, I have something to learn here, so I will learn. But that taught me a lot of how an actual business works, because in a hotel your cost center are multiple things, and then if one unit does not make enough money on the budget, it will still come from banqueting or something like that. How does the overall P&L of a hotel work? You don't have access to it, or you don't even probably think at that time. You are only worried about your job and make sure the customers are happy and go. But this kind of taught me that I got into a place which was not doing well, and then I had to put effort to make the business profitable. The owners had just moved out of five-star hotel. The chef and the F&B manager partnered and started a new business, and they had their expectations. I spent about a year and a half there, but that was the hardest lesson. Came down with the salary, quit a very good job and wanted to do something great, but ended up being in a situation. But then it was a learning curve where I got to understand how actually a restaurant or a bar business works.
So definitely you don't have any regrets.
Not at all, not at all.
So now that we discussed about your origin story, how your career and everything started, let's move to company hospitality. So
Yes.
the first thing you started as a business, was it company hospitality, like a consultancy or something else?
I think the first time I ever put my hands into business was opening a restaurant for my father in Mysore, because my parents used to live there. My father was working in a vegetarian restaurant chain. He built about 5 outlets for them. So my mother was running a canteen in the school where I studied. So we pulled the canteen out and made it into a restaurant, and my dad quit everything what he was doing as a job, and then he opened a restaurant. After that, while I was working with Bacardi, I imported a few hats from one of the brand ambassador working with Bacardi. He was designing hats which had a cocktail name on it, and started something called Cocktail Company at that time, and got in the hats. I gave it to a few people, sold a few, gave it away to friends, but I didn't know when I imported that my import duty will be so much. But I still had that, and then jamming got happened, where five of us friends got together to build a jamming goat in Goa. And then from Cocktail Company, we started doing events, because we wanted to find another stream of business to make money. Sombir had already started doing consulting for restaurants from the food bit. He said, "Why don't you come for the beverage and operations bit? You know it well. Let's get together and do consulting." And that's how consulting started. And Cocktail Company was the brand under which we started consulting. But while we did that Cocktail Company, we kept company as the company hospitality as a company, and let's start building brands under this. So then Crockery Company happened, and now we have SOKA, Kalpaney, and all of that.
So any reason behind changing the spelling, like for Kanara Canteen, for company, instead of C you put a K?
I don't know. Maybe I'm the Ekta Kapoor of F&B. I'm obsessed with letter K. No, it just happened to bring things together. I think my surname is Kapoli. My wife's name is Kulpreet. My daughter's name is Kashvi.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I'm obsessed with the letter K. I try and find ways in which I can add a K into everything what I do, and maybe that's why I landed up there. Yeah.
Great. So you were talking about how company hospitality started, like when Chef Sombir was already consulting and he asked you,
Yeah.
why don't we join hands? So it was an invite for the partnership from his side.
So I was not enjoying my job while I was working with Bacardi, although I spent 4.5 hours. It was a fantastic job I had. I was advocating brands, for one is for trade, one is for consumer. Build the drink strategy for portfolio, which is whiskey, Duas, Aberfeldy, Craigellachie, Altmore. You have Bacardi rums. You have Bombay Sapphire as gin. Then you've got Grey Goose as vodka. So all of these brands build those drink strategies. Petron Tequila. And advocate it to consumer as well as for trade. And at one point, I wanted to give up on it, is because I was not enjoying it, and um, I did not have a great conversation with my boss at that point in time. So I said I will give up on this. Then we had already started with jamming out at that point in time, and I spoke to Sombir saying, "Man, I'm not able to do this. What do I do?" But because Sombir had already started, he had done about 5-6 businesses by then, and he had taken up a few consulting projects. And when I told him this, I feel like quitting. He's like, "See, you can quit. Let's start doing consulting. Let's find ways. Maximum, if it doesn't work, we can still go back to the industry and find a job. I think we are capable. So let's begin this and see where it goes." And that's how we started it. I think I needed a push. I was skeptical. I didn't take that leap of faith. I spoke to Sombir. He said, "No, you should." And I just took that step, saying, "Okay, let's put all this job aside. Let's take up entrepreneurship." Maybe not the right time to do that at that point in time. I mean, being honest, um, quit job after I think about 5 months. My baby was born. I had a daughter. Wife is on maternity leave. Who in their right mind would try to quit their job, which the whole bartending community in the country at that time is yearning to get that job, right? You get to travel 2-3 times a year outside the country. You're traveling almost every month. I was handling India and Sri Lanka. So, and I was heading the advocacy for Bacardi, and great job. Why would you quit that? But I took that step at that time, and it paid off.
That was a crazy shift and also a crazy risk.
Yeah. I think if I get a chance again, I would still bet on a risk like that. But yeah, it was a risk which I took a huge bet on, and it worked.
So, like recently you started SOKA, right? So the So is Sombir and Ka is Kapoli.
Yes.
So that is how you both met, and all these things started. The
Yeah.
Kompany Hospitality, right? So it was, we cannot say it was Sombir or it was you. It was like you were also asking, he was also kind of okay,
Yeah.
let's do.
Yes.
So it was a
Yes.
natural partnership that happened.
Correct. Yeah.
And do you both argue like as a partners, like some harsh arguments or some tough arguments in your office?
Yes, we do. See, the beauty is, I think, that we both have complementary skills, and we have respect for each other's skills and what we bring onto the table. And we are great friends as well. And we have a lot of open conversations about if I am upset with anything, maybe something should not be done the way it is, or I feel maybe it is right or wrong. We have a lot of arguments, but like I said, we also have our own boundaries as to what we feel. We can share our, like, sometimes in the recent past, or maybe actually, to be honest, most of the times when we do a menu for our own space, he doesn't taste my drinks, I don't taste his food.
Oh my god.
Till the time we call someone and try to, because maybe if I taste, I'll have an opinion that, maybe this is not good or anything like that. Or if he tastes my drink and says, maybe I don't like this, but let's host a few people. And if we get a feedback from them, after we get feedback from some 50, 100 of our own friends, then we start taste. But while I'm doing my drink, I will taste and refine it. While he's doing his food, he will taste, he will have the ideas. But we will not, try and get into each other's shoes and do it. But if I have some ideas, I'll share. Like for Kanara Kanteen, I said, why don't we do Chikku Shira? Because we ate Chikku Shira in a restaurant called Anmol in Mangalore. That was really good. I never had Chikku Shira in my life before. It was amazing. I said, why don't we do some some modern version of this. So he did a chiku shira, chiku sponge, chiku ice cream on top, and it's the best dessert in Kanara Kanteen. Like similarly, like he would probably come up with some ingredient or some. Avinash, I think you should create a cocktail with this, or I like this spirit somewhere here. He also travels a lot. He say I tried this. I think we should try this. So there is a lot of sharing of ideas, and we respect each other. We support each other. Yeah.
Great. So like, I mean, I think you guys brought the cocktail revolution to Bangalore.
No, not us. I mean,
No.
it's the whole community
Whole community. Okay.
who did their effort to, change the perception that cocktails are not bad. Cocktails can be good as well. To move away from Mojito, Cosmopolitan, and Long Island iced tea, it's just not us. I think it's just after COVID, I think the community sort of got together to build more and more cocktail centric bars, grabbed every opportunity to do that. Now, if you see, almost I think a lot of bars in the city would say cocktails and kitchen. Earlier, it was bar and kitchen,
Correct.
or restaurant,
Resto bar.
or resto bar, or restaurant and bar, but no cocktail were mentioned anywhere. Now it's like a standard tagline: cocktail, food, and maybe vibes. Cocktail, food, garden.
Yeah.
It starts with cocktails most of the places. Yeah.
So you said like the community, came up together and created this revolution, and I feel like cocktail community is the only community in the restaurant industry which is like very much open for collaboration and everything
Yes.
without seeing the competition. You guys
Correct.
go to other bars, take over.
Yes.
Like for example, if you take a biryani restaurant which is legendary, they don't do a kitchen takeover kind of thing, like okay, you come and sell your biryani in my restaurant. It doesn't happen.
Yes. Yes.
Because people see everything as a pure competition. Why is this collaboration which is existing in, I mean, only in cocktail community? Why do you think so?
See, generally, the restaurant business has been mostly run by talented chefs, right? Mixologist as a term maybe is very recent, and bartenders do make good drinks behind the bar, but if there is a big name of a chef, he has a reputation, he has a way of doing his own food, then people would go into the restaurant. It was always chef driven, and there were no bars as such which are bartender driven or a mixologist driven, right? And as bartenders, us, we used to attend competitions. One of the way we could connect with a lot of bartenders was that every liquor company, to advocate their brand, they would host cocktail competition. While I was in Bacardi, I was doing the Bacardi Legacy cocktail competition, which is a global cocktail competition. There is the Doers Highball Challenge, and now there is World Class from Diageo. There are so many competitions. So you meet people from the community, and you are open to sharing your knowledge or what you are doing. Like when we opened SOKA, I spoke to Arijit Bose, I showed him my space. I spoke to Pankaj Balachandran, I said, I'm doing the space here. Arijit was opening Spirit Forward at the same time. He wanted ice. I said, I also want Hoshizaki ice in my bar. And I said, I'm thinking of buying one or two machines. Maybe I can supply it to you. I bought two machines. I supplied it. Then I bought four. Now I have 15 machines. I'm supplying it to almost 15 bars in the city in terms of this. So we are able to help each other understand what is going on, how can we get better. Same with takeovers. If there is a bartender coming from another city or a country to our city, we will show them what are the other bars, who is the bartender there, and what are the drinks and what vibes, and the chefs. And then we are doing the same with chefs also. Now we have all the chefs who come and do Sunday ritual in SOKA. So we are just building that community where we help each other and grow with each other, and we are not looking at each other as competition anymore. Yes.
That's great to know. So you were telling like when you wanted to open SOKA, it was also Spirit Forward
Yes.
who was in the process of getting launched. So which was the first craft cocktail bar, like a speakeasy format or something, like a small bar which is specialized only in cocktails? Which was the first bar that got launched in Bangalore? Was it SOKA or something else?
Oh, shit. there were a lot of bars which were already
Means I
doing
mean to say
craft
the
cocktails.
modern
Even
day.
breweries were doing craft cocktails.
Okay.
At Rahi, we were doing
Hmm.
craft
Hmm.
cocktails. Um,
But when we say like a bar like a Spirit Forward or Soka and similar bars like that, where
Kopitas was there in Four
okay,
Seasons, which were
even
doing
before
craft
Soka and
cocktails. Yeah,
everything.
I mean, see, every bar for that matter had a cocktail menu,
Hmm.
and bartenders used to make great
Hmm.
cocktails. Some bars used to make probably have mojitos and 5 different mojitos: watermelon mojito, pineapple mojito, then a pina colada, margarita, and Long Island iced tea, Blue Lagoon. All these cocktails were all there already,
Hmm.
and it was then also a craft to make it. Now the craft is much refined. It's
Yeah.
like you can say probably Beer Club is the first microbrewery
Hmm.
in Bangalore,
Hmm.
but because it was the first microbrewery license given, correct?
Hmm.
In bars, I mean, when there was maybe Diverse Bar, which was there in Bangalore, there also they used to make cocktails. I mean, my father worked in Peacock Restaurant,
Hmm.
and they had Manneton on their menu. They used
Hmm.
to make Manneton and Old Fashioned. My father still tells me the menu of that place. I still have the menu
Hmm.
kept at home. So maybe in 1980s only they were making cocktails.
Hmm.
That was a craft also. So
Hmm.
I don't know to put a bar in a place and say this was the first cocktail bar which ever opened. No,
In the sense like clarified, using clarified juices, block ice,
hmm.
cold press juices. I mean to say this kind of, I mean, premium
Five-star
spirits.
hotels were doing it.
Hmm.
Kopitas was doing
Hmm.
it. We at Rahi were doing
Hmm.
it. Before that, I don't know. Maybe there were so many bars which were already. If you ask me, we were already doing great cocktails at the open box where I was working.
Oh.
There were fancy setups. So there used to be a drink called Science Project. It
Oh.
will come in a beaker in a small tray. It was actually mixing pineapple juice and
Hmm.
blue curacao together. It will become green.
Hmm.
So you will take the drink and mix it together, and the color is changing in the glass. And then you put a straw
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
drink. And then we have a cocktail called Drip Me Tight.
Hmm.
It used to come in the stand with the drip bottle, and you can take the pipe and drink it. It was called Drip Me Tight.
Oh.
So this was, I think, 2017.
Okay.
No, sorry, much before that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So we cannot specifically say that this started this year in
yeah.
this place like that.
Correct. But I think in 2023, maybe is when you had ZLB. Maybe after 2 months of ZLB, Spirit Forward opened. Maybe after 2 months of Spirit Forward, we opened. That was that 1.5 year where a lot of bars open, and then Dali and Gala opened. Now Una Hasi and the Wine and Progress
Yeah.
and Double. Now you see every month, I think there is a bartender led bar opening. Bartenders are
Hmm.
owning bars
Hmm.
now,
Hmm.
coming up with their style of
Hmm.
drinks, their style of building the vibe,
Hmm.
and what is it that they want to give to
Hmm.
the consumers as an experience.
Hmm. Hmm. So now let's move on to Soka.
Okay.
So the very first year you opened, you
Hmm.
got number 3 bar in the top 30 in India,
Yes.
and the second year you got number 2. That means can we like as consumers and industry people, can we naturally assume that this year we could see you on number 1, or what, do you have an aspiration for that?
Of course, why wouldn't I aspire to be number one? But
Because you know a lot of people say like, oh, we don't see numbers, we don't look for recognition, awards, we are just doing our own. Some people say like that, so that's why I asked you that question.
no, see, am I aspiring to be there on that list? Yes,
Hmm.
I am.
Hmm.
But I got to do what I got to do with
Hmm.
my bar.
Hmm.
Consumer is
Hmm.
at the heart of everything what we do.
Hmm.
Consumer is king. If I don't have consumers walking into my bar and I'm not making money, then I can't pay my team
Yeah.
money, and I can't pay myself also
Yeah.
any money.
Yeah.
And putting a board of the award inside my bar is not going to make me money.
Correct. Correct.
But with that recognition, I am known
Hmm.
to my audience more. Maybe I'll capture some
Hmm.
new audience
Hmm.
who will come because I'm on that list,
Hmm.
and it helps me
Hmm.
get better. It after you be on that list, it becomes also very critical. You are kind of what do you say? you kind of, there's a benchmark which they measure you on, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you are number two, then I have seen better things than this. Now, why are you number two? You should be probably better. And sometimes it also affects you. Some people, you are number two bar in the country, you don't have Kingfisher beer. Then that, right? I probably that's why I am number two. I don't know, but I don't intend to
Because you
sell
don't
this.
sell LAIT.
Yeah. So, but it the culture is evolving. More and more consumers are trying cocktails. So you need to be on top of your game if you want that kind of recognition. But if you said that some people feel I don't care about the list, I do care.
Yeah.
Because I want my bar to get better and better. I want that probably that validation to tell us that we need to do much better than what we did for the past year or since the day of the opening. So it kind of motivates us to do better and better.
So specifically when it comes to SOKA, in a period of 2.5 years,
Yes.
you have seen number 3, number 2, number 28 in Asia. In a very short succession, you guys have been seeing multiple successes. Do you think you are still grounded with all these successes?
Am I grounded? I don't know how to define that. What do you mean by grounded?
Means like
For you, should I look like I'm grounded?
no,
Or
personally,
okay.
as an entrepreneur.
I still get behind my bar and make drinks.
You don't take it
Most
for
of the time I'm washing shakers and helping my team in this thing. See, 3-4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I was an employee. And I have been through the journey of being a bartender. I've worked in kitchen stewarding for 3 months. I've washed vessels. I've done everything. I've learned the craft the hard way. And that is what I enjoy doing the most. And I want to build an ecosystem where like-minded people are working together and make money, make wealth, because we feel the industry is not paying enough. But also because a lot of the restaurants or bars may not survive, or it's a very, very, very competitive industry. Every week there is a new bar opening, probably another new bar shutting down, right? So I stick to my ground and continue to do what I do every day, but just want to get better than what we did yesterday. Money is not the end goal, but without money you cannot achieve any goals at
Correct.
certain point.
Yeah.
So trying to balance between both is what is going on right now.
Great. So, like, let's discuss something from the consumer perspective. So, you guys do every month one takeover,
Yes.
minimum one takeover you do. That is in SOKA,
Hmm.
and you also go outside and you also take over other bars, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, like, when I have seen myself, like, in bars when takeovers happen, I see a lot of times, people go from the bar and explain, giving a menu. Today there is a takeover, so this is the special menu which is available only today. I have seen a lot of times that even though people go to such bars, they are not aware of takeover. So, I mean, what would you like to say about takeover to consumers so that they should take it special and they should not miss it?
Okay, so from a consumer standpoint, if say you are coming to my bar maybe once in a month, or whenever you want to have a good time, you are coming to my bar for the experience which you already know, I want to entice you with also giving you something else, and give you an experience, saying, you know what, there is this great bar in say Delhi, which is called Air, and the bartender is really great. He is making drinks, and he is behind the bar today, and he has come up with 4 amazing drinks. I think you should try. For you, okay, you came for an experience, but you're also getting something new as part of the experience. You enjoy. Next time, like Avinash, if you have another bar coming, you let me know. I also want to come, right? Uh, for us, as a bartender, as my team who is doing a takeover, I'm hosting a bartender from another city. I am not able to go to a city and have his
Exactly.
drinks. I get to taste the drinks, and I'll also build a relationship with him. and I'll also take him around the city, show him the culture of what it is, how many good bars are there here, what do we eat, which biryani is the best. You should go to microbreweries, have a beer. This is what our city is about. And show him the culture, build the rapport, and he enjoys us hosting him. Probably he will tell tomorrow, why don't you come over? Because he would have come to a bar, he would have tried our drinks. He will feel, okay, I think my consumers who come there will also like the drinks. Like I'm like, okay, I'll get Philip Bischoff to do a drinks from BKK Social because his drinks are really great, and Karthik, who is my regular, will probably enjoy his drinks, right? So that is what we mean when we want to do a takeover, and which also helps my team to learn more. They will get to taste new drinks, they'll get to taste new flavors, they'll get to taste learn new techniques. Maybe there is a different technique which that bartender is using to make the drink. You will get to see it, you will learn, because it's knowledge sharing. Maybe they come and like a lot of them who come to our bar get surprised by the size of the kitchen and say, how come you have such a small kitchen and you're doing so much? And then they like the way that, okay, so all your consumers are seated and they're having their drinks, there is no loud music, and it vibes with our bar, and we are able to have conversation with consumers. So the takeovers mean maybe different things to different bars. Sometimes you would host people in a bar for a takeover just to bring the community together. And he is a celebrity, he's a big name in the industry, he's achieved a lot, and we all the industry want to try his drink. So you would probably tell him, come over for a takeover, I'll get the whole industry to come and try your drink, because we don't get a chance to come to your bar and have a drink. Yeah.
So it's a complete win-win-win community building activity. I see. Like you give chance to consumers to try drinks without traveling to Bangkok or Italy or Delhi, wherever.
Yeah.
And you also, because the bartender is coming from so far, you also take them to different bars around the city and exchange knowledge.
Correct. And now tomorrow, if you are going to Bangkok and you want to have a good drink in the evening, you'll remember that you met Philip Bishop. Yeah, OPM. You met Marco from OPM, and you will probably go to his bar and have a drink.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's
now the social club also, right?
Yeah, BKK Social Club. We even got Dry Wave Cocktail Studio was there in SOKA.
So we kind of discussed about cocktails, SOKA and stuffs like that. Now let's move on to your next project, Kalpaney. So you coming from the mixology background, and you guys, whatever you did initially, it was all about cocktails and everything, even though food was involved. From where you got the idea of starting something in which there is absolutely no alcohol, and on top of that, pure vegetarian restaurant? How the idea of Kalpaney came and why it came?
So we were consulting for a lot of brands, which we still do, which is one of our primary business, how we started. And while we were doing that, we consulted for Food, which is a vegetarian restaurant, and it started doing really well. And there were few more vegetarian restaurants which opened. And we said, we did a bit of research, and we said, okay, there is an opportunity to tap into the vegetarian market. It's a completely different set of crowd. And we had Jamming Goat in JP Nagar at that point in time. We were a cocktail bar plus modern food, modern Asian, modern Indian, and modern European food was there. It Jamming Goat sort of became an occasional dining brand, and we intended it to be a neighborhood cocktail a brand, but a little elevated, modern dishes, good music, and all of that. So since it became an occasional dining brand, it did not give us enough footfalls as we were expecting, and the burden of the license cost and all of that, we decided, why don't we change this into a vegetarian restaurant? At that time, it seemed the best thing to do, and we said, how do we now imagine a vegetarian restaurant in this space? And imagination means Kalpana, and again that K came in, and then then we saw a lot of restaurants in Bangalore which were using Kannada names as well, like Nenapu. There is Benne Dose.
Beku Cafe is there.
Yeah, correct. Nerulu is a cafe.
Neralu.
So Kalpaney was something which we said is a good name for a vegetarian restaurant, and that's how Kalpaney happened. And then Vipin, who does all our branding and everything, came uh, with the logo, which is an imaginative animal. It's an elephant with the tiger's body, a monkey's tail, and flowers blooming out of it. It's an imaginative, and so that's how Kalpaney came into it. And we said we will do vegetarian food, and Sombir does magic with food any which ways.
Yeah.
So he said we'll do a global cuisine. So we did everything from proper North Indian food, which everyone likes, to having South Indian dishes in the menu, to sushi, chaat, dim sum, Asian,
Yeah.
to everything is there on the menu. Yes.
So you imagined imagination and Kalpane happened.
No, so the one of the realizations for us was that what are the vegetarian restaurants which people are eating in? It is the Sagars, and it is the Udupi Grand or Udupi hotels. And apart from that, there were a bunch of restaurants which were doing vegetarian food, and there were also restaurants which were focusing on vegan. There were Sattvic restaurants and all that. But for a consumer or mostly vegetarian dining in today's space, it's about family dining. So where are families going to? And if a family is going out, the age group is from 5 till maybe 85, right? And there should be something on the menu for everyone if you are expecting family to dine. So that's the gap. We said, okay, people are eating in Sagars and Darshinis and your Udupi Grands and all of that. They are looking at an elevated space where the interiors are great, the food is great, there is an experience built in vegetarian cuisine which we can tap on, and we latched on to that and said, let's do this.
Understood. So Kalpane is definitely built for the class audience, right?
Everyone, it's a
Everyone.
mass brand.
Mass brand.
It's not a superlatively expensive fine dining restaurant. It's on an average per person meal spend will be between 500 to 1000 rupees depending on how much you order, but that's the average spend. Generally, the tendency is if you're going to a restaurant to dine as a family, first thing is on the soup. I mean, I have also done that when I was a kid. Parents take us to a restaurant. There is tomato soup and there is some other soups. You do 2 by 4 and then a standard starter and then one main course with one roti basket and then one dessert. That's the general way of you going and dining out. So if you're doing that meal in our restaurant, you would spend somewhere between 800 to 1000 rupees. Or you just come in, have one curry and a couple of rotis and leave. You would end up spending about 500 or 600 per person. Depends on how you want to experience it.
Got it.
Yeah.
So like was your partner Chef Sombir so much happy with Kalpane in terms of his contribution becoming primary, because you know all your previous projects where you know maybe cocktail is the main hero, the mixology, alcohol is the main hero, but here in Kalpane do you think he was so happy because his scope of work is more in building the
No,
restaurant?
so it's equal contribution in terms of building any of the brands which we build. In SOKA, it's a cocktail bar, but food is the main stage. Unlike European or any Asian bar, generally most of the cocktail bars, they don't serve food.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
In India, we initially thought the idea of SOKA came in when we wanted to do a small cozy bar. Okay. And we had traveled. We went to Thailand, the 6 of us, bartenders, chef, and Sombir. We went to 35 best bars in Thailand in 4 days. And we got all the details together. Okay, what is the bar doing? What is their menu? What uniform are they wearing? What is the design they've done? What are the tools they're using? What is there on the menu? Everything. We came back, we said, let's do this cocktail bar. But in India, can you do a cocktail bar without food? We said, no ways. I cannot myself drink. I want to have some or the other bite in between. And the way we drink here is while drinking, we need to eat. and after finishing the drinks you need to have one biryani or anything heavy, right? That's the way we generally drink. So we said no, food has to be the mainstay, and then within the space we decided to carve a kitchen. We'll do prep somewhere else and then finish the food there. And you will do in smaller plates, then small plates, which is nano plates. That's why we call it super snacks. It's small plates along with the drinks. And if generally if you go out drinking to a club or anything, 10:30 bar food kitchen will close. Bar is operational till 12:30. After you finish drinking, you are hungry. What do? You go to Empire, right? Eat grilled chicken and dal and rice or whatever. And you need some sort of main course. So we said we'll do main course, but as a takeaway, not necessary to sit in the bar and eat. So we did noodles and we did
So they
chef
can take
post shift
away.
meal bowl, which is basically chef loves to have khichdi after he finishes his work. So we made a khichdi, but a nice one. We can pack it in a bowl. If you intend to sit in the bar and eat it. But if you want to take it home, finish drinking, and then you go home, heat it up and eat it and watch Netflix, up to you. So that's how we built that concept. So there's always, I think, equal or more contribution from both the ends in terms of beverage and in terms of food. But
Kalpane has slightly
Kalpane
more.
has more food because that is the mainstay. People are coming there to consume food majorly, and then beverage becomes an add-on for them to enjoy their food. So the beverages also has to complement that. So in Kalpane, we introduced milk teas, which are very popular in Hong Kong and other places, like jasmine milk tea and
Cold brewed milk teas.
Yes. We do a nice Indian masala tea, but it is with milk, but it's cold brew. And we have carrot milk, we have chiku milkshake, and we have a bunch of these things which are a little different from generally what you consume in along with your food.
Okay, now it's time to move on to what you are wearing. Kanara
Canara
Kanteen.
Canteen, okay.
So, after doing certain projects in Bangalore, what made you to choose a city like Mangalore to open your next destination?
I am from Mangalore. I am a Mangalorean, but never lived there.
Okay.
I lived in Bangalore and in Mysore most of my life. And when we had Jamming Goat in Goa, which was a beachside restaurant, during rainy season we had to close it because it's on the beach and rains are so heavy that the restaurant used the roof and everything will fly off. So you dismantle everything, cover it up, and then you reopen after 2 months after the rainy season. So now what do you do when the restaurant is closed? So we used to bring the team and a few equipments to Mangalore inside a hotel called Avatar. They had a space, and we used to do a pop-up of Jamming Goat for 2 months there.
Oh.
Because we were consulting for the bar there at that time. I met Prashant, who is the owner of Avatar, and he had a space. I said, why don't I bring Jamming Goat here? I will do a pop-up. Let's see how the market will take it, and whatever revenue comes, we will split it. I just need to cover the cost of the salaries, what I'm paying for my staff, because they don't have to do anything for 2 months, and I'm paying them salary. So let me, maybe it will market the brand. So we did this for 2 years in a row. We saw that we had a lot of response from the market who loved the kind of cocktails and the kind of food what we were doing with Jamming Goat. And then I had this in mind saying, okay, if ever I get an opportunity to do anything in Mangalore, I think I should do maybe a small space with the kind of food and drinks what we are trying to do. And I chanced upon this space, which was a nice 2,500 square feet in the center of the city. I took it up and then we started building around it and visited Mangalore, saw what is happening. Which is why we said we will make it a canteen during the day because it's a very price conscious market, very value driven market, and the market is looking for something refreshing than the usual places where you go and drink. So from a canteen during the day, which is serving some club sandwiches and main course combos and beers on tap, in the evening it becomes a modern cocktail bar, like a modern cocktail dive bar, red light, good music, and everyone is sitting and enjoying. So we will make it into two different spaces within one day, and let's introduced that to the market, and then Vipin came up with retrofuturism as the theme. We spoke to an architect, and he designed the place based on retrofuturism, and that's how we introduced Kanara Kanteen in Mangalore.
And how's the response so far?
Touchwood, it's been good. Mangalore is loving us. We also love Mangalore a lot. Audience has been loving the kind of things what we are doing there. Good.
So is there a possibility to bring Canara Canteen to a city like Bangalore?
I don't think so. At the moment, Kanara Canteen is specifically made for the audience in Mangalore. There is the only place in Mangalore to have toy beer on tap. There is no craft beer on tap in Mangalore.
Oh,
And we only have that beer.
okay.
And we have cocktails, and we have small plates, we have grills. The cocktails are all named after places in Mangalore, some of them which you would relate to. Like one of the cocktail is Gulf Written Uncle. My uncle is the manager there, and he worked in F&B industry in Gulf and came back. So we named the drink after him, called Gulf Written Uncle. There is one cocktail called A Rekha Martini. It's actually areca nut which is used in it, but when your areca also sounds like Rekha, so we said A Re. So, and you will know that in Mangalore, a lot of them have name as Rekha. It's like in Bangalore, if you see, there are a lot of common names which you find. Manjunath is a very like that. Rekha is a pretty common name in Mangalore. So it's very specifically, kind of made to the community and the people around there. I know the local language. I am from there. I don't know if I can bring that to Bangalore. Maybe concept wise, canteen and dive bar in the evening.
Maybe a
yes.
Kanakpura canteen. I don't know.
Probably yes. But yeah, tier 2 cities, it's a good. Maybe goes to Shimoga canteen.
Oh,
Belgaum canteen.
Wow.
Mysore canteen. Don't know yet. But when we started off, we had that intent that we need to build something for tier 2 city. But this one will full heart into making it very, very Mangalorean.
Got it. Not only Canara Canteen, but when it comes to naming cocktails, like I have personally witnessed, be it Jamming Goat or SOKA or Canara Canteen or any places you consult, I think you guys are super creative and fun when it comes to naming. I have noticed, right? And see, Kalpaney, the logo is, super creative and, you said imagination, but it's, practically not. A human cannot imagine like that. And same with the Jamming Out logo also. It's super creative. So from where you are getting this creative ideas? Is there any alien who comes to you? Are you in contact with any
No.
aliens?
It's a creative agency who does it.
Oh, okay.
Vipin, who runs a creative agency called Scene.media, is my partner in Jamming Goat as well. He also runs a bar called Ali and Gala. He has Room 1 in Goa and all of that. He has a partner who's Devang, who sits out of Kolkata. And we give them our thoughts, what we have in our mind, and they come up with these things. Like the videos which goes out on our pages, we don't even get to see it before it goes out. Only when we get the collab request, we see, oh, this is the video which is being made.
Great.
It's their creativity, and we don't interfere in that. So whatever.
But it's your input at the end.
Their inputs as well. My team's inputs as well. Yes.
Right. So you said Canara Canteen becomes a bar during evening. That does it mean that during daytime you don't serve cocktails?
We do serve. The cocktail menu
the
is
vibe
there during the day. It's brightly lit during the day. It has two sides as glass.
Okay.
So where the dining area is, so you have a lot of sunlight coming in, and it's bright. And you have sandwich combos, and you have main course combos and all of that. Along with that, you can order any cocktail from the menu, or you could just have a beer and a sandwich also. And in the evening, the lunch menu is not there. I'm not doing sandwiches in the evening, or I'm not doing main course combos.
Okay.
It's small plates and grills and bar snacks which is there in the evening, which you have, and then you can go for a meal. You can order main course and accompaniment separately. and then order a dessert, or you just want to have a good time, have a few cocktails, some snacks, and enjoy your evening, you can do that.
Okay.
Yeah. The menu changes for lunch and dinner.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Lunch is sandwiches and main course combos, and dinner is small plates, grills, and main course.
Do you get Mangalore cuisine primarily or?
No, we don't do Mangalorean cuisine there.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit here and there,
Mm.
because Mangalore cuisine has got so much depth,
Mm.
and there are so many places in Mangalore which does extraordinarily good food. I would not go to Mangalore and do Mangalorean food. So it has regional food which you would want to try, but probably not easily accessible. Like a Andhra chili chicken. It's very accessible here in
Yeah.
Bangalore, not in Mangalore.
Oh.
But do you want to eat Andhra chili chicken? So we have made a chili chicken lollipop.
Oh.
You've eaten lollipop, chicken
Yeah.
lollipop. So now chicken lollipop in Andhra chili chicken sauce.
Wow.
So it's like that. There are a lot of dishes on the menu, which is like we have got a safed butter prawns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you've been to Delhi and you've had Aslam's butter chicken, so he
Yeah.
makes a seekh kebab and then
Mm.
mixes butter and cream together and
Yeah,
pours
yeah.
on it. So that same sauce, but we have grilled prawns and we're serving that with, and then shirmal bread comes along with that. So it's something which you probably tasted or tried. You want, but you don't have. Like we have done biryani there.
Mm.
Right, and you would not expect a done biryani in a bar, but you would always enjoy a done biryani
Why
for
not?
lunch or for dinner.
Yeah.
If you want any other biryani, there are multiple options, but we said okay, in our bar we will give done biryani. Yeah.
Yeah. So now let's move on to the club that you do, the podcast that you do,
Yeah.
like cocktail
Cocktail Club
cocktail
podcast.
club.
Yes.
So in that you take the other side as a host. So what
Yes.
made you to start that?
So the intent of starting the Cocktail Club podcast was that the community of food and beverage would like to hear stories about people, and anyone who is part of this ecosystem, whether it's a restaurant owner or a bar owner, a bartender, or anyone who's built spirits or anything like that, if I could have a conversation with them and find out what did they do, how did they do it right, are there any learnings, what is their story. So I wanted more people to hear stories, because today you might know, okay, I am someone who has SOKA as a bar, and I am whatever, like you said, second best bar in the country. What went into becoming that bar, or how did it work out for you? Why did you do that the way you did it? What is your learning, and how did you arrive here? So that was the intent. So I got Pankaj, Arijit Bose, I got Anand Veermani, I've got Nitin Tiwari, I've got a sweet in India sweet house owner on my podcast, a woman who has built an entirely new sweet business. So it was about how did they arrive there, and I wanted to share those stories with the community and people who are part of the industry. That is the intent I started with. Over time, now I've taken a break on it because I have too many things on my plate, and I'm not able to block my time in the calendar, because it also needs a lot of research to be done. Yeah, your questions framed in a certain way. You need to have the right questions which your audience would want to love. I thought I'll again start it from next month, but again my calendar is is crazy, so I've taken a break
Yeah,
from that.
like I know how it is difficult to bring you here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because we spoke about cocktail club, right? Like interacting with different industry leaders. So that time this question popped up in my mind, like now that example we are in Bangalore now, crazy amount of this modern craft cocktail bars like speakeasy types and everything keeps opening up month on month. How do you see this as an industry person? Do you see this healthy, or do you feel like the market is getting overcrowded? What is your thought about that?